Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Bloodborne OST reaction video. Now, I don't quite remember if I've ever talked about the Father Gascoigne OST before, but one thing I'm going to absolutely say about Bloodborne's soundtrack from beginning to end is that a lot of they are based. This is basically where they got to the point where the themes and a lot of the story can also be conveyed in just who you're fighting. Whether you want to say this goes almost to the end of the game when you're fighting Lawrence, or whether you're going to basically the beginning of the game and you wake up in the hunter's dream. But while that's all very good in a way, let's remind ourselves, ladies and gentlemen, is that you can technically fight Father Gascoigne first, because Bloodborne has an option in which you can travel across the bridge and you fight the cleric beast, or you can travel upwards up to what is essentially the beginnings of Cathedral Ward, Upper Cathedral Ward, and you fight Father Gascoigne in a small cemetery, and well, you fight him. Now, I don't necessarily want to spoil. This is like one of those occasions where outside of you know how I did a lot of my Elden Ring videos and how I talked about I didn't really want things to be spoiled because I am basically going to be streaming the game. This is also one of those examples in which I kind of don't want to spoil anything for people who've never played Bloodborne or who have never owned a PS4 or a PS5, because really, they're not kidding when they say this is possibly the best game that From Software has ever put out, because I've played it at least 3 times from start to finish, and I think, to be honest, I think it's one of those games where it gets better and you appreciate it a lot more for its themes and its story, because this is like Dark Souls if there was no hope left whatsoever. There are issues and themes of hope that are expressed in Dark Souls, but there is absolutely nothing like them whatsoever in Bloodborne. Because if you aren't prepared to be turned into basically the leader of the hunters, or you're going to wake up as one of the great ones, you are basically going to be killed and you awaken in a world in which you will slowly turn into a monster. There's no happy endings in this, and Father Gascoigne is just... I would almost argue, because I know that the idea of Father Gascoigne is almost meant to be either a priest type figure, or maybe Gascoigne was, like they say father, maybe literally, maybe you're fighting your dad, or maybe you're fighting a metaphorical interpretation of the fact of what you will become. Because remember, in the cutscene when you fight Gascoigne, he states by saying, "Beasts all over the shop, but you'll become one of them sooner or later." Was this maybe this is what happens if we wake? This is one of the 3 endings to the game in which you wake up in what's Yharnam, but the night has ended. So who knows? What do you guys think about that? But what I want to showcase as well is just what the music it does in this game. And I know I've talked about Ludwig before, but there's so much more. So here we go. I'm actually going to turn this up because even though it's like the same riffs done over and over again, but except it gets louder and louder. It's basically the hunt or the inevitable fight between hunt and hunter. and you are pursuing. You are just doing your task, and you are defending yourself. It goes into a fight. This entire fight is actually what can only be described as self-defense, because you are fighting a fellow hunter, as it would seem, though. Again, this sort of detail is fantastic, because it becomes hunter versus hunter, but now it becomes hunter versus the hunt. You go from basically fighting toe to toe with Gascoigne, and then Gascoigne mutates, as it were, and all of a sudden you are running away very, very quickly, and you simply can't get away fast enough. Gascoigne just decides, well, that's it, everyone dies. And here it is. And to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, to say that that's not even the best, that's not even the best boss fight music in Bloodborne is a story in its half, because there are so many great things to the soundtrack in this, from basically feeling endangered to feeling hunted, to feel you're dueling with something monstrous, to dueling something admirable and noble. You are fighting against something that is completely out. And bear in mind, supposing you literally did decide to fight Gascoigne first, no other game before this ever pits you against someone who is practically your size. And what do you do now? That's that I think that kind of design is remarkable in its own right, and it's certainly far better as a concept of like the first boss than, let's say, the cleric beast, which the cleric beast is like kind of fine on its own, but it's just sort of more designed to showcase the sort of size and scale of some of the monstrosities that roam Yarram. But that's besides the point. With all that being said, however, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed the Father Gascoigne boss fight music, and I cannot wait to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.